If you're playing the Murdaugh Clerk of Court Becky Hill lottery game, you might want to pick the numbers 262. I don't know if you can play 3 numbers, but 262 is what I would go with, or some variation thereof. Why 262, you might ask? Well, hold on a minute. I'm going to tell you. The first 2 is for the number of complaints that she has filed with the South Carolina Ethics Commission against her. The 6 is where it gets a little more tricky. That's the number of cell phones that have swirled around her and her son with regard to this investigation of tampering and all of the other stuff that is swirling around her that could very well be considered obstruction of justice. If you remember, when her son was arrested, Becky was also required to turn in her cell phone that night. That is one cell phone. The cell phone she turned in was not the cell phone that she was using during the trial. The trial cell phone was a Samsung. She turned in an iPhone. So what happened to that Samsung cell phone? Nobody knows. SLED's still looking for it. And by the way, Becky wasn't just swapping phones. It's alleged that she also was taking phones from a Verizon carrier, which was her county phone, and putting them on her private carrier, which is a totally different carrier. This request that her Samsung County phone be transferred to her private account was made at the request of her son. The phone was switched to her private account on July the 26th. The next day, her son was suspended from his job for the wiretapping allegations. And by the way, she said she wasn't using the Samsung phone after it was transferred to her private line, but according to records and Fitz News, she was using that phone up until September the 5th, the day before the defense filed their motion for a new hearing and had a press conference in front of the Supreme Court. So the break of it all is that Becky had a Samsung phone. She switched that to her private line. She got a new iPhone, and then she stopped using that phone whenever the allegations started breaking. She used a new iPhone with a new phone number. We're not clear which iPhone SLED got. Her son Jeff had 3 Samsung phones, and no hate from you Samsung people, but honestly that's a red flag because you always messing up the group chats. Either way, he had one on his county line, one on his personal line, and whenever the allegations came out or the heat started being poured onto him, he destroyed his county phone and ordered himself a new one. SLED, of course, was seeking both of those phones, and both of them had been factory reset before he gave them to him. So there's your 6 cell phones. And the last 2 for your lottery card, Fitz News has confirmed today that SLED has 2 open investigations into the misconduct of Becky Hill. 2 open investigations, 2 Ethics Commission's violations, and 6 cell phones. Now, truly none of this has anything to do really with the jury tampering other than the fact that she is being investigated for her role in the jury tampering by SLED and the Ethics Commission. But either way, from where I sit, it don't look good for Becky Boo.